Hello, everyone. I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who follows me and have subscribed to my channel on YouTube under Charles Van Horn 53, and to all of you who follow me on TikTok. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing and also get the word out so that others can start subscribing and following me as well. Normally, I discuss on this channel political viewpoints. I rarely ever discuss the other two legs on this stool, which is racism and also the other forming leg, which is religion. I normally discuss politics, but there are three legs to this stool: race, religion, and politics. And tonight, I want to focus on race because as a country, we have somewhat went backwards since Trump became president. And I'm not just talking about this term, I'm talking about the last term as well. Now, I want you to keep in mind that there is a difference between prejudice and racism. We all have our prejudices. We all have our preconceived notions and ideas about each other. And whether you want to believe it or not, those prejudices come about just because of how we tend to look at each other. Sometimes people don't even know each other, and they have a prejudice that comes to their mind. They said, sometimes you think you're better than me, or you think you look better, or sometimes people say he think he's handsome, or women say she thinks she's better than me. Those are just prejudices. But a prejudice is not racist. But I want you to understand that that is where our shared bias ends and the racism begins, because when you hate a person and wish them physical harm based solely on their skin complexion, and you really want to cause them physical harm because of that, let me speak this full-throated. You are a racist. It's plain and simple. There's no way to sugarcoat it. You're just a racist. And many of you has hid your diseases, which has been in the family for decades, years, centuries. You hid it quite well when it was not expedient to be openly racist and bigoted. You kind of hid those things because society, it would frown upon you. But during the golden age of Trump, everything now is just all out in the open. And since Trump himself is a man who has manifested tendencies of being racist, homophobic, misogynistic, as well as being a convicted felon, you chose him as your God King. You chose him as the leader of your pack. And guess what? You saw in Trump, what you for so long had kept hidden. And he allowed you to release your inner demon and to free yourself from restrictions and moral constraints and still identify as what? A Christian. He became your avatar, and he personified all of the evil actions that you so desperately wanted to allow out in the open. He gave you reason. He gave you credibility. He gave you the excuse to be who you want to be. And so he allowed you to allow the demon that was inside of you to come out. And he really freed the monster that was in you. And so that's why you're so willing and able now to use the N word with the long ER at the end, because you say, I'm tired of being restrained. I'm just going to let everybody know how I feel. Well, let me tell you something. It's all out in the open. We see you. The world sees you, and your actions have shown to everybody who you really are. But make no mistake, there is no turning back. Because I want you to remember there is cycles of this monster rearing his ugly head all through the centuries. We've had it during the civil rights struggle when this racist monster reared his ugly head. And there were crimes committed. There were atrocities committed that were never brought to justice. And that's why we still deal with racism as it pertains to minorities in this country, because those people who actually engaged in and committed atrocities against other human beings were never brought to justice. They were allowed to just return to their normal way of life and all was forgiven. That's why we still struggle with racism, because no one who actually engaged in open racism that harmed human beings was actually brought to justice. They were not brought to justice. They just committed the crimes and were committed. They committed the crimes and were given a free get out of jail card to simply go back to living their lives. And many of them actually, government officials said they were just blowing off steam. Why do you have to blow off steam so much and go commit crimes and you're not held accountable? That simply amazes me. But if you're caught and you're a minority with just an ounce or an ounce of marijuana, you're given almost 25 years in jail because of smoking marijuana or possessing marijuana. You see how crazy the laws are? You commit a crime and you unalive a person because of your racism. You're given a pat on the hand, a little pat on the shoulder, and say, "Don't do it anymore now. Be careful. Don't do it again." That aggravates me to the very core, because we said we are a nation of laws, but it's a nation of laws when it applies to certain people in our society. Now, as I said, there is no turning back from who you are and what you have shown to us. The world sees it, and I want you to know that when you put stuff on the internet, it doesn't go away. The internet keeps it. The internet retains it. So years may go by, and you may want to try to come back into good graces with everyone once this era of Trump has ended. And I'm telling you, like all things that's cyclical, it will end. The era of Trump and his bigotry will end, and many who are committing crimes today will be brought to justice later. I want everyone to know that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. One day you will be held accountable for what you have done during this period. And for many of you, you will want to try to come back and fit back in. But I want you to know that there is no forgiveness. There is no let's sing kumbaya. There is no kumbaya. I will never forgive you for what you have done. You have shown to us that you have this evil incarnate inside of you. And I don't care how you try to justify it, how you try to make it seem as if you were actually led astray by this. There is no forgiveness from me. God may forgive you, but I don't forgive. And I know that many who are experiencing this blight on our society will never forgive you either. So don't come to me later asking, can we be friends? The answer is no. Hell no. And I want you to know that you have done a disservice and a disgrace to what we were trying to do, is turn the page on this period of racism in our country. We thought we were turning the corner, but you have brought us back beyond 1950. You have brought us back almost to the 40s, where you don't even want to see minorities, black people trying to get ahead. So it's very insane right now for how we are actually digressing and regressing instead of progressing and moving forward. But as in all things in life, there are there are waves sometimes that allow the current to flow in, and also to flow out. So I believe that one day all of this trash that we're experiencing in our society, it will actually wash itself out again. And people who are doing atrocious acts will be held accountable. And someone will have to give an account for everything that they have done. And I just wanted to get that off of my chest. I felt it was time to speak out and put it on the record. There is a difference between prejudices and racism. You can be prejudiced and not racist, but you can't say, I didn't know I was a racist. Racism is actually a taught lesson. It's taught. You're not a racist. You're not born racist, but you're taught to be one. So a lot of you who have been taught to be racist, I feel for you, because it's a lonely path that you're on to be racist. No one really likes racists. And even though you have a few in your clan and you feel that you're together, you're moving to isolated locations together and living among yourselves, you have to think about it. You're actually isolating yourself simply because no one really wants to be around you. You're isolating yourself and you're doing the right thing. And I'm glad that you're revealing yourself to the public. So do yourself a favor. Stay out of my way and I'll stay out of your way. Well, that's all I had to say. So until next time, I want you all to stay safe, stay woke, and continue to do what you know is necessary to bring to light everything that is going on around you that shouldn't be going on around you and that is being, looked at as acceptable by some in our society. Don't let them off the hook. Hold them accountable. Please follow me if you're not following me on Charles Van Horn 53 on YouTube and also on all other social media platforms. Thank you.